is Heitor. I study manufacturing engineering. I'm in the last year, and in 2016 I went to Miami to develop a project in partnership with the Florida International University. I spent there just 3 weeks, but it was good enough. And Unicamp paid me 7,000 reais as a sponsorship, but it was enough to cover all the expense I had there. And I found out that I could go to Miami by a professor. He told me about an opportunity to develop a project of any kind with any university worldwide. So of course I accept that because there wasn't a sponsorship. And it wasn't really hard to get the sponsorship actually. I think you needed 4 requirements. For the first one was a maximum of 80% of your course completed, a minimum of 20%. You should write a motivation letter, and you also should write a project of any kind with any university worldwide. So he knows a professor in Miami, and we decided to write a project together, an engineering project, but it could be of any kind, medical, biological, administration, so every student could participate. And the project wasn't really hard to write because it was like 10 pages just telling the camp what you were going to do there, what was the project about. And some professors here, they judged the project and selected just one, so I was the chosen one. So that's how I got the exchange program. About my English level, when I got there, it was already good enough because I went to Miami in July of 2016. But in February of 2016, I went to Canada to study English. So I spent 1 month there. So that's why my English level was already good enough. But if I can tell, one hard part was the technical words, because I was working in an engineering lab and they use a lot of technical words. But in 1-2 weeks, it was enough to get all the words. And when I got back here, I had to write a report to Unicamp telling how I spent the money, what I did there, because they were paying me, of course. And how did this work? The university in July is in vacations in the USA, but it was enough to meet some professors, some students, not a lot of them, but the people I met there are amazing, and the infrastructure, the materials, the lab they have there are everything amazing. I stayed in a hostel there because they gave me the money, so I had to choose where I wanted to stay. So I decided to stay in a hostel because it was cheaper than a hotel. And the hard part in the USA to be abroad, it was in Miami because everyone in Miami speaks Spanish and not English. So it was a hard part, but at least Spanish is similar to Portuguese, and I could understand part of the people were saying. And about the reality and expectations, everything I was expecting was true, because the city is amazing, the university is amazing, everything are really amazing there. So that's the exchange program I participate in Unicamp in 2016.
Hello, my name is Gabriela. I'm 22 years old and I went to an exchange in 2016. At that time, I searched for many exchange agencies and chose the one that I thought it was more safe because it was a really good reputation. It's very important to see if the agency is recommended by other people. Traveling abroad isn't a cheap thing, so you have to plan all the costs you think you will have during the travel. I spent money with accommodation, flight, the school, and the money I used to live during 30 days. It was about 15,000 reais. Before I went to Canada, my English level was upper intermediate. When I arrived there, the most difficult thing it was understand people talking fast and think fast to answer other people and keep a conversation. When I come back to Brazil, I noticed that it was easier to understand others people and think faster. I went to a school that had shifts, so some days I went to the school in the morning, some days I went to the school in the afternoon, and I think it was really good because in the city there was different attractions with different in different times, so I could experience all these sorts of things. I stayed at a family's house. The owner was called Nereza. She was a woman from Philippines. She was very nice and kind and very curious about Brazilians. I spent money mainly with bus to go to the school, food. It's very hard to keep health food when you're not at your home, and when you spend the most part of your time out of the house. But I could buy in the markets some food. You don't need to eat McDonald's and other fast foods and all time. And I spend money doing some visiting different touristic points. When you are in a different country, I think the most difficult thing is to communicate what you're thinking to other people, because it's not just the language but the way different cultures think to communicate. And because you don't have people to contact at any time if you need. You're just alone in another country. When you arrive in another country, you at first think everything's perfect and it's the best country in the world. After 1 week, you start to miss the things from your country, mainly food and people. You started to see the bad points about that new country you are at the moment. At some point you can understand that even if the reality doesn't match with the expectations, you can really enjoy this new experience, and this experience is still really good and maybe better than you could thought before.